Human transmutation, as presented in the series, isn't just forbidden because it's dangerous, it's forbidden because it's fundamentally incomplete. The Elric brothers weren't just trying to reconstruct a body, they were trying to restore a physical form, a soul, and the identity of Trisha Elric. Now, the series makes it clear that even when you have a body and a soul, that doesn't necessarily recreate the person. So if we say they succeeded, we need to define. Did they create a biologically stable body? Did they bind a soul to it? Or did they somehow recreate Trisha exactly as she was? Because those are very different outcomes. Let's start with the most optimistic version. The Elrics performed the transmutation and somehow, against everything the series establishes, they perfectly recreate Trisha. Her body is stable, her soul is intact, her memories and personality are unchanged. On the surface, this seems like a happy ending, but it creates a massive contradiction within the logic of the world. Because if human transmutation can fully restore a person, then the entire premise of equivalent exchange and the cost enforced by truth starts to collapse. Why? Because it would mean that death is reversible, identity is reproducible, and loss can be undone through knowledge and skill. At that point, alchemy stops being a system with limits and starts becoming a tool for bypassing consequences. And if that's true, then characters like Van Hohenheim, who spent centuries grappling with the weight of human life, are operating under a false premise. So even in the best case scenario, success doesn't just change the Elric story, it breaks the entire philosophical foundation of the series. Now let's look at something more consistent with the world. The Elrics succeed in creating a stable body and binding a soul, but it isn't truly Trisha. This is closer to what we already see in the series with artificial humans and soul binding. The result might look like her, speak like her, even believe it is her, but something would be fundamentally off. Not in an obvious horror movie way, but in subtle inconsistencies. Gaps in memory, emotional responses that don't quite align, a sense that the person they brought back is incomplete. And over time, Edward would notice. Because Edward's entire character is built on observation and skepticism. So instead of relief, what you get is a prolonged realization. They didn't bring their mother back. They created something that resembles her. And that realization would probably be more damaging than the original failure, because now the loss isn't clean, it's distorted. There's also a third possibility that people don't usually consider. What if they succeed and still pay the price? Because the involvement of truth isn't just about punishing failure, it's about enforcing balance. So even if the transmutation works, truth could still take something of equal or greater value. In that case, you might end up with Trisha restored, but Edward and Alphonse losing even more than they originally did. And now the story shifts into something else entirely. Instead of a journey to regain what was lost, it becomes a question of whether the outcome was worth the cost, which is a much more uncomfortable and more interesting direction. There's also a structural issue. The failure of human transmutation is the event that defines both Edward and Alphonse. It's what sets their goal, shapes their understanding of alchemy,